I was reading a book on Joel Goldsmith's works, and one could say they largely fall into two categories. One is his principles, his beliefs, and his teaching, and the other is the training he was giving to his students. And most of you know how often I repeat his words because I find them very close in spirit to Advaita, which basically means since he speaks on the teachings of Jesus, it is the teachings of Jesus. So, in one talk, he tells his students, there are only two words you have to remember. Impersonalize and nothingize. Impersonalize and nothingize. So the student asks him, what does that mean? He says it's very simple. The minute you feel you are judging someone, or you feel they have a character flaw, something you don't like about them, or if they come to you with a problem, because he was training his students to be healers. If they come to you with a problem, whether it is a health issue, monetary problem, or relationship problem, the first thing to do is impersonalize it, which means don't peg it on a person. So, for example, if there is a flaw, you must have the understanding that this person in front of you is a creation of God. It is not an individual in front of you. Everyone who's in front of you has been conditioned by the same force as you have. Circumstances may be different, personality traits may be different. So, the minute someone upsets you or you don't like something about someone and you're quick to pass judgment, first is to impersonalize. The realization that what appears in front of you is a person, but actually it is an instrument of consciousness. And the second step is to nothingize. What does that mean? It means to not buy into the problem, not buy into the story, not make a mountain out of it. To see that it is just an appearance. Now, how can we nothingize it? When we have a recognition of the one power, which is all-knowing, all-pervading, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, all-powerful, and if we rest in that knowing, that becomes the content of our consciousness. So what he told his students is, if someone comes to you with a problem, first step, impersonalize. And if you want to attribute it to someone, because that's the human nature, okay, I can't attribute this issue to this person anymore, now what do I do? Give it any name you want. He used the word carnal mind. It is the carnal mind. Nothing to do with the person, it's the carnal mind. And nothingize it because God is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-pervading. So the student was trained not to give attention to the person or to the person's problem, but to rest in what he called the infinite invisible, the deep silence, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. Knowing that this is something which has impinged on my consciousness. And buying into that story is not going to create the healing. It is the force, what Ramana Maharshi called divine activity, which does the healing. It does not need you. Now this is very close to Advaita. Because when we say everyone is conditioned by the same source in different ways, it's the same thing. We are impersonalizing error, as he says. Impersonalizing error. Which means the content of our own consciousness is now no longer filled with obsessive thoughts about how people behave with me, how they should be, how they should not be. Because my consciousness is now full of pure being, pure presence, without the garbage of the thinking mind. That is a consciousness of peace. And then temptations come to you. It's very tempting, especially certain people. They come to tempt you into your old patterns and habits and beliefs. That is the test. Am I going to operate on my old conditioning? Or now, is there an opportunity, a potential to perhaps convert a knee-jerk reaction into a response? A response may be needed. I may not be able to keep quiet about it. But if I am able to impersonalize error, my reaction will no longer be a knee-jerk reaction. That is a huge gift. The potential is available. To not get back at the other person like I used to. And more importantly, as far as my own life is concerned, when I have the understanding that all through my life up till this point, whatever be my age, whether I'm 15, 50, 80 is irrelevant. The fact is, through all my trials and tribulations, all my ups and downs, all my pleasures and pains, I have been present. If someone asks me, do you remember what you did on your 10th birthday? I may or may not remember. But I certainly know I had a 10th birthday. Likewise, a painful memory is remembered. A pleasurable memory is remembered. All those events have passed. The pain has passed. What was painful to me a year ago is not painful now. Something which gave me heightened joy has gone. But my own knowing is I was present throughout it all. Therefore, it begets the question, which is more important? The event or the witness that was always there since you were born? And so someone in the normal course of life, with even a smidgen of illumination, concludes that my own life experience so far has been everything is shifting, everything is moving, up and down, past and future. But I have always ever been there. And so this presence, which has never left me, is where I am now getting more and more centered. Because it is now recognized, it is recognized. If I am depressed, who knows it? Something has to know that depression is there. If I am joyful, who knows it? Something has to know joy is there. So what is that which is constantly aware of everything else that is going on? That which I ignored because I was enthralled by life. I loved being a depressed person. Hard to say this, but it is a fact because I have an identity. I know who I am now. I am now the depressed person. This is how it happens. I love playing the victim. Or the flip side. I get addicted to pleasures because the realization has not happened that all pleasures are fleeting. Or I dominate and control others. I'm the aggressor. Now I've been identified as an aggressor. Now I know who I am. I'm the aggressor. So when this light of awareness falls back on itself, this awareness that, my God, I am the one who is aware of it all, then what used to hold its grip on me starts releasing. Because I have now one foot in pure being, things don't ruffle me like they used to earlier. Because I have seen this is the nature of life and living. So Goldsmith was asked, fair enough, but you are telling your students to be concerned only with their consciousness. Forget the person who's in front of you, forget their problem. You are resting in peace. How is it possible that that can help the other? They are separate. They have their problem, they have their issue. He said, because the whole foundation of this principle is there is only one consciousness. So their consciousness is not apart from mine. Then, the next very intelligent question, if that is so, then that person's problem could become yours because there is only one consciousness. He said it can't, because that is the illusion, that is the error. The truth is the truth. Just like In deep sleep, this is now what I am saying, not what Joel Goldsmith is saying. Is your deep sleep different from mine? In deep sleep, we are both absent. In the waking state is where the difference and separation comes. So the truth is like that. The natural state is like deep sleep. There's no differentiation. Which basically means if none of these egos were there, we'd all be in deep sleep together. And then would you have a problem with anyone? Crazy life. Absolutely crazy. What Goldsmith called mesmerism. We are mesmerized. Would anyone like to ask anything or share anything? Towards the end of his life, this is what I was told by Maharaj's translator Mullar Patam. He was getting impatient because he wanted to perhaps give his entire teaching out and have sincere students. So towards the end, he would say, I welcome profound questions. So nobody would ask anything. They were too scared. Can we have that AC on? Does someone have the remote control? And my teacher really encouraged asking questions for one reason. He knew the confusion which prevails in the ego. And mind you, this is the pre-social media and YouTube time. That confusion was a bit different from today's confusion. And so he was, very strangely, I believe, he was an impatient man in daily living. But in the satsangs, he was very patient. You could ask him the same question again and again and again, and he would answer. The only time, as I've said before, and the only person he would reach the end with was a lawyer. And this lawyer had the habit, when the satsang is over, there's just half a minute left, he would raise his hand. And he would start. And he thought he was in court. So he would start an argument. But sir this, but sir that, but sir. And so then Ramesh would tell him, okay, time is up. You have the last word. And he would say, sir, but you telling me to have the last word means you have the last word. So the lawyer couldn't help being a lawyer. It was very fun. And life is so paradoxical. He was there every day. I used to go only on Sundays. And he had a traditional guru. I don't think he considered Ramesh his guru, but I was never sure. The paradox is, once it was Ramesh's birthday and he asked me to pick him up, and I went early. I used to go early and sit in Ramesh's room with him for some time. And he had a huge bouquet of flowers. Sorry, it wasn't Ramesh's birthday, it was Father's Day. Father's Day. And I was surprised that flowers on Father's Day is very touching. So we went into Ramesh's room and Rohit went below on his knees, gifted Ramesh, was on his rocking chair in the room, the flowers. And he said, "Happy Father's Day." And Ramesh was delighted. He said, "But you're not my guru, huh?" See, none of us thought of giving flowers on Father's Day. He had that thought, but that next sentence had to come out. That is the paradox.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, I think Siddhant wants to go first.
No, but
This thing you mentioned about this Goldsmith's point that your problem is not my problem. But it is, right? Because we're living in this oneness, which is what's yours is also mine. So how is it not my problem?
No, what you are referring to is something else. What he was saying was, if someone came to him with a problem, let's say it is a health issue, how is it Goldsmith's problem? It is that person's problem. In the mundane life, someone may approach you for help. Hey, I need some money because I'm short of money. That doesn't mean you do nothing and rest in the infinite invisible. But what he was pointing to is all these issues are residing in consciousness. It appears they are in the material plane. If someone approaches me and asks me a question, I will not keep quiet saying that God is all powerful, all knowing, all pervading, so I don't have to say anything. But the training he was giving his students was this, because he himself became a very big healer, you see. Now, we don't get into the healing aspects, that doesn't concern us, it's not our portfolio. That is Goldsmith's portfolio. We are concerned with peace of mind in daily living, Sukha Shanti. But the point is true. The thinking mind of the sage is annihilated. The sage is not going to focus on problems which take you into the dead past or an imaginary future. The sage will deal with what is in the moment, what can I do about it, and the story ends.
And that's also the antidote to the problem.
As far as the sage is concerned.
Yeah. So, for example, if Goldsmith was dealing with his disciples,
Yeah.
he would be that.
Yeah.
And that would be the antidote to this problem.
No, he would not be that.
He would encourage the disciples to be that?
No. He was concerned with his own consciousness. That is what he said produced the healing. And Ramana Maharshi has said something in a very similar vein. In fact, I have it on my phone, which unfortunately is being used for filming. What he refers to as the divine activity. He says if the ego does not kickstart and get into this process of wanting to do something for the other, and one rests in that, that produces the healing. I have read the same words.
Yeah, it's really interesting because yesterday, somebody was kind of dumping their problems on me, and I was finding solutions. But then now, when I look back, maybe that was not. I don't know if that was the right response. I could have just sort of dealt with it by just being with it.
No.
Course correcting, giving my.
Why not? Why not? See, if someone has asked me for my view, now I will give solutions saying these are what appeal to me as solutions. These solutions are not the truth. They may or may not work for you. We don't know what's your destiny. That is why when people ask me something, I say, this is what I would do. I don't say this is what you should do. It's a very big difference. So if I feel I have something of value to share, if someone asks me, this is the situation I am in. Someone did ask me recently, a family situation, lot of angst between the siblings. What do I do? So it doesn't mean I rest in the infinite invisible. It means I know that the thinking mind has not allowed this person to sleep all night because of this problem. Now, rather than buy into the story, analyze it till kingdom come, I know my truth, what I would have done, which I express. I would have said to this sibling this, I would have said to this one that, and then I would left it to the play of the karmic forces, which is precisely what I said, that I would express myself, but I would know there's something far bigger at play between the siblings going on. And my suffering, my psychological suffering, is if I get entangled in those wires. And what's the point? Why try to dominate and control and force an outcome? So he was quite open to this suggestion. He said, all right. He said, it makes total sense. I said, everyone is coming with their blueprint, their destinies. They don't need us to try and fix things.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's why I feel like, yes, in certain situations where expression is warranted, and then you leave it to the higher power to
Yeah.
like sort of allow. But then there are situations where that's not even needed.
There are situations where you might say also that this person has asked me the same thing 10 times. There's no point saying anything. So then what happens in such a situation? Then I give the person a silent blessing. May you find your own way. Because sometimes the ego is so lost in its drama. You're telling the ego all the time the same thing, but it is not willing to see another point of view. Then at some point you have to put your hands up.
Yeah, and if you give like solutions or suggestions, the ego like looks at it like a victim, right? And like doesn't want to receive it.
Exactly. So, but then one has to have the intuitive ability to understand the person in front of one. Because it is not what people say, it is what they don't say, which is answered. Anyone in front of us, anyone asking us anything, there are levels. There are 3 levels. One is the question itself, 2 is what is not asked, and 3 is the one asking the question. So the sage is not answering the question. The sage is answering what is not asked and is answering the questioner. Because words can be deceptive. Or people ask you what you should do, what you would do if you were in their shoes, and they'll listen to everything, but they'll still go and do what they were going to do. But it does not mean not giving your point of view. But if a point of view does not arise to impress the other person, you should not give a point of view, which we also do. Because the ego feels great, I am being asked for advice, so I must give it. But if nothing is arising, there's no need to give it.
Yeah, if you feel like you're giving a point of view, but it's not leading to a better outcome or like a more peaceful situation, then it's not needed.
Not needed.
Then you have to course correct and like sort of.
Yeah. You see, because keeping this discussion apart, what Goldsmith was pointing to is, if we live in a polarized consciousness between dualities of every conceivable kind, we will get stuck between those all the time. And so, as he rightly says, only 3 things emerge: love, hate, and fear. Love, hate, and fear. Love, hate, and fear. then we are caught in that triangle. Because if we lived with this understanding that if there's no one to hate, it means there's no one to love either. But what we humans do is we accumulate the ones we love around us because that is our padding and our cushion. These people love me. So it's not possible that you eliminate hate from your consciousness, but you have this other polarity with you. You're still living in a dualistic framework in which the sage is not living. That is why you see any guru, whether a disciple has been with them for 15 years or someone new walks into the door, they are the same with everyone. No hate, no love, no fear. So when our consciousness accepts this fact that all this while I've been trying to protect myself and save myself and feel I'm being loved by people, I have to look at that. If I'm on the spiritual journey, I have to be honest with myself. And that is why the masters say, we are not telling you to love people. Don't go about hugging people if that's not your nature. All you have to do is don't hate anyone, which basically means what? A total acceptance of everyone. A total acceptance, whether I like you or not. I may have my preference, the way God made me. If I'm an introvert and my preference is to be with quiet people, so be it. I don't have to force myself to be with aggressive people. But a total acceptance of people the way God made them, without the slightest interest to change them. Would not you call that love? I mean, it's common sense. The one you hate has been created by God. The one you love has been created by God. So does God love any of his children less or more? Both are his creation. A total acceptance of the creation is what I would call love. It may pain me to accept this totality, and that pain is also witnessed. It is painful for the ego to feel this person who has really troubled me is actually not the doer. It's a troubling thought. So far I was okay because I could blame someone for shattering my peace. Now I can't. But that is the spiritual journey. You are here to resolve that. It's a journey of resolution. Deep flow the rivers of karma. Am I going to be swept away with it from birth to death, lifetime to lifetime? Stuck in the action-reaction loop? Or is there a chance to end the game? Which is what the Gita is about. Yes.
So here I am again.
Yes, I forget your name.
Shilpa.
Shilpa. Yes, Shilpa.
So I have
Your
one
son
person.
was getting married last time. Is he happily married? Good.
Yes. So I have one person or a couple people in my life who push my buttons.
Sure, we all do. You're lucky you have only one or couple. We can send you more. Agastya can send you a whole line.
I've been listening Ramesh so often. And many things get resolved from his satsang or whatever talks that I've been listening. One person. That person pushes my button so hard.
The one who is talking to Ramesh.
No. So I've been listening to Ramesh. So whatever is happening in my life, you are saying one or two. The other ones, I try to resolve with Ramesh's teaching.
Understood. But one person is troubling.
One or two are very...
Sure. Yeah. Persistent troublemakers.
Yes. So I've come across Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian technique. Have you heard of it?
I have. I'm not too familiar with it, but it's about forgiveness and love. Right.
So that has 4 sentences. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's all you keep on saying. And according to the teachings, you are healing yourself first. So your inner child or your subconscious mind is getting healed first. And it reflects on the relationship and everything. And when I listen to Ramesh constantly says that when anybody would ask him, what should I do? He would just say, just total acceptance and surrender and just be with yourself. But if you think that meditation would help you, because if you are conditioned to do that, or any prayer would help you because you are conditioned to, then be my guest and do whatever. But according to Ramesh, whatever he's talking about of Advaita, that is enough for... I want to heal this relation so fast. I would wish that I would have a very peaceful life.
Yes. But God may wish otherwise. But one sec.
Okay.
If this Ho'oponopono, have you tried it?
Whenever I say them, those 4 sentences, the forgiveness, because forgiveness is not for what she's doing, but for whatever I'm feeling for her. When she or he is doing something to push my buttons, however feeling, I'm forgiving, I'm asking for forgiveness.
You're asking the other for forgiving you for how you are feeling.
Yes.
But does it work for you? Have you felt nicer, lighter?
Yeah.
So then go ahead. What's the harm? If it has helped you resolve these people in your life, the situation, more than Ramesh's teachings, go with Ho'oponopono.
I love Ramesh.
You can still love Ramesh.
What I mean is that I want to stick to one, but okay.
It's a good point. Stick to that one which gives you the deepest peace of mind.
Yeah.
If Ho'oponopono is giving you that, please stick to that. And you can still be eternally grateful to Ramesh. You will know, have I got more peace through this or through that? You don't have to cross-pollinate the 2 teachings. They are different. Ultimately the same. Whatever works for you. Yes, Josh. They can pass it around here. Now I'm feeling cold. I wrote in my book what Meher Baba used to do to have fun. When he was in the train, all the disciples want to serve the master. So he would tell one of them to lower the window so the breeze could come in. So, yes, master, lowered. Then he would tell the other one, there's too much breeze, raise it. And then he'd see them both fighting. Yeah, it is fun.
I had the opportunity recently to visit Hazrat Babajan's Dargah, which was beautiful.
Yeah, on the road, na? It is on the main road. Hazrat Babajan, one of Meher Baba's 5 perfect masters, whom he refers to, for him were the 5 masters. She was from Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was actually shooting there and I had absolutely no time. So in my last time also I had gone there, so I couldn't visit. So in my mind, I told Babajan, now I want to visit. Now you have to make my arrangements in such a way that I find that window to visit. And that very serendipitously happened. But besides my question,
We must come to you when we want to get things done.
can you shed some more light on perfect acceptance, complete acceptance, and yet having that preference, having your own natural conditioning? Because that conditioning is arising from an unconscious place, right? My genetics, my whatever happened in my prenatal childhood, all of that is unconscious. And yet, if I completely accept and I'm not dualistic, where is that preference still coming from?
From the source, you have already answered it.
I don't understand.
It's very simple. I have a certain nature which God has given me, and I have some friends I resonate with more than others because they are of a certain nature. Right? Where is all this coming from? So, I'm just using one example. Supposing I have 2 friends. I've known them since school days, right? There's a comfort zone. But one I find more amiable, I can enjoy going out for a meal with him. The other I like, but he's all the time in a very brash mood, bold, talking loudly, non-stop. I still like him. Now, where would my preference lie? In my heart, I would know that if both of them invited me on the same day for lunch, where I would prefer to go.
Yes.
But this does not mean that I have judged the other friend.
Yes.
I have accepted him for the way God created him. And maybe at some point, I'd be happy to meet him, but not as often as the first friend. So I have a preference which is God given, yet I have the total acceptance of both of them as the way they are, and I prefer having lunch with person A. Where's the problem?
And when you have one foot in the witness, those preferences don't sway you as much.
It is possible, yes, because you're not judging individuals anymore.
You're fine with whatever is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true that you tend to focus on the good. So even in the friend who you would have preferred not to have gone out with, you might really enjoy a cup of coffee and talk of other things, knowing that the innate natures are different.
Because you're not prejudiced now. Ki ye aisa hai, wo
Exactly.
waisa.
Yet, now let's say I had a school friend. I used to meet every week because we were very comfortable with each other. It was like a routine. And another friend who was close to both of us, I would not meet that friend every week. And if he said, let's meet every week, I may not have been happy at that idea. Because for me, it was a bit of work in that relationship. So I know where my nature lies. But the minute I have excluded judgment from the equation, it is a total acceptance of people the way they are. And at some point, it can flip. Maybe I'll be more comfortable with this other guy. We don't know.
Yeah.
Things change.
It has happened.
Things change. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we are in a space of being absolutely open to what the moment offers. I mean, I have seen it at least 15 years ago, 20 years ago. People surprise you, in good ways. Because now you're seeing the good. It's like if you're walking down a street and I tell you, when you walk down the street, there are many trees. Just keep an eye out for the leaves which are yellow. Now I've given you the brief. When you walk down the street, keep your eye out for the leaves which are yellow. So you're going to walk down and looking where the yellow leaves are. And then I ask you, how many green leaves did you see? So where's the focus of our consciousness? Where has it been? It has been on separation and judgment. Because it has been on that, because we are laser pointing into people's flaws, we have missed this whole, the iceberg. We've only been seeing the tip of the person. And now we discover that there's this depth which I was blind to, which I did not see before. The whole dimension changes. It's very beautiful when that transformation happens, because you can truly see that the person you judged has qualities which you don't. It's an eye-opener. Because the whole focus has shifted. Till the me is threatened and fearful and afraid, because I'm afraid of you, you are a threat to me. And all this about you I don't like. That is the focus. Now that shifts. Who is a threat to whom? God is a threat to God. Now my defenses come down. Yes, who was wanting to ask?
I've seen more often than not the conditioning is more conducive to saying yes than no. I feel the more comfortable we get with ourselves, we start saying no to more things than saying yes to them. There's a lot that we're doing which is just because of work or society or things. No, it's just dragging us towards things. The moment you start finding a little bit of center and acceptance, you start saying no to more friends than yes, and it develops this condition. You come to a place where you're again ready to hang out with them as a very different person later on.
That is what my teacher would say when someone came to him saying, I'm a very simple man. I don't understand these words, enlightenment, self-realization, all this makes no sense to me. All I want is to be comfortable with others and to be comfortable with myself. That is the only reason I'm here. And he loved it so much, my teacher loved that statement so much that he started telling that in his satsang. All we want is to be comfortable with others and comfortable with ourselves. But being Advaita, neti neti and all that, he then flipped it. He said, let's flip it around. All I want is not to be uncomfortable with others and not to be uncomfortable with myself. So whoever is making us uncomfortable is offering us a very big gift. It does not mean we have to force ourselves to be with them, but we are forced to look at this discomfort and address it, because the discomfort is within us. And once we have resolved it for ourselves, then what has happened? We have realized it's nothing to do with the other.
But how do we resolve with ourselves?
The resolution is only within. There is no resolution without. Then we have impersonalized and nothingized. Then when I decide that this person who has made me uncomfortable, I have now seen the whole picture. Now the preference may be still not to be with this person. But there's no angst, there's no hatred, there's no malice. there's no ill will, there's nothing. A total acceptance of the other, of myself, knowing that in this equation, things are not meant to work out, but I leave it with peace and harmony and a silent blessing for the other person, that you too will face your challenges in life just like I will. May God be with you on the journey. So simple. So simple. Yes.
Everything we say happens in consciousness. And your consciousness and my consciousness is the same. So who's witnessing that consciousness?
Yes. Very good question. And what do you think is the answer?
If I say my consciousness, so who is that my?
Yes, that is the whole point. Now, for example, electricity runs through all the gadgets in the kitchen. Can you imagine the toaster saying, this is my electricity, which is different from the juicer's electricity? Electricity is electricity. The juicer is designed to produce juice. The toaster is designed to produce toast. But the consciousness, in this case, the electricity is the same running through all. When this is realized, then the answer is, it is consciousness which is the witness. It is not me who is doing the witnessing. The me cannot witness. The me is the problem. The me as the ego can observe. Observing something means judging it.
So you let it be what is happening in the consciousness.
Yeah, you rest in witnessing.
No judgment, nothing.
Yeah, and it happens on its own. See, you cannot force yourself to be a witness. Then you're moving away from witnessing. And the ego works like that. The ego is trying to even become the witness. It cannot. It is the absence of the split mind of the ego, the mind of separation and judgment, which is the witnessing. And that is it. When one realizes one is witnessing more and more and more and more, there's only one meaning. I'm more and more and more and more at peace, which I will know. Sometimes it will get disturbed because old habits, old tendencies, old relationships come back to bug me. So be it. Life is a lesson, it's a journey. We are all learning it in different ways.
But more and more as you become aware of it, you want that feeling of
because you feel that is where I'm resting.
that real joy.
Yeah, it is a joy only.
Yes.
The joy of peace.
True.
It is the joy of peace. It is not the joy of joy. It is the joy of peace.
Also the joy of relief.
Relief, the joy of relief, and the joy of release. It's a release. The mind is released. That is really the only measure. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Because what it means is, I'm no longer invested in me and my drama. Then only witnessing can happen. Till I'm invested in me and my drama, where's the scope of witnessing? Because now if I'm sucked into my drama, it's always I am right, you are wrong, I feel this way, you feel this way, the world is cruel to me, this, that and all. Then you have taken a step back. The movie of life is now being witnessed. All the characters are being witnessed. The plot twists and turns are being witnessed. That is then where you're standing.
And that state has such a sweetness to it that it almost makes you feel like life is worth living, you know. It like, brings that quality to life where you start enjoying things so much more.
Yeah, and more importantly, you feel like, my God, I have seen through this veil of illusion and separation. That feeling comes. It's like, it's so simple, you know. If you just, I mean, I don't know, people have different rituals, but let's say you're standing in front of your altar, if you have one, or sitting in the same spot on a couch, and you just keep quiet and say for the next 1 minute, any sound which comes. See, there's a crow. Any sound. Unfortunately, many are not coming now. Any sound which comes. But I'm sensing the vacuum. There's a vacuum and the sound is rising. The car is starting. The bird is chirping. That is the witness. That background of awareness. You can tap into it right now. Can you imagine a situation where earlier your guns were trained on this troublemaker who's going to step into your room or into wherever, but you're resting in this silence now? What happens is what that person says and does becomes less relevant. Why do we like to go to nature? Hill stations, rivers, streams. Because, as Eckhart Tolle says, nature does not have a thinking mind. We are drawn to that intuitively.
Mr. Balsekar always said, anchored in peace.
Yes.
Yes. Anchored in peace.
Also, witnessing is the source itself, right?
You could say that because the ego is in abeyance in witnessing. Ego is also the source as identified consciousness. Nothing is not the source. Nothing is not the source, including those who upset us. That realization takes us very far in life.
I think Ramana Maharshi
I
once
need
said,
the mic.
He said like the state of witnessing is full of power and abide in that. So do you think he meant it? How do you think he meant it? Was there like understanding that that is the source of manifestation and hence?
You could say that what we started with, God is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-pervading. That is what Siddharameshwar Maharaj called Lakshmi and Vishnu. Lakshmi Where is she looking? At Vishnu. She's not looking somewhere else. Attention, lakshya, is on consciousness. He who pervades. Vishnu is he who pervades. So when one's attention is no longer on the mundane but on consciousness itself, that is where peace is found. So it's what you're saying. Yes.
Maharaja says,
You were here last time also, right?
yeah,
And you had come from, can you remind me? Or,
Rajat.
and what is your background?
Like I'm working for BARC, BRC.
No, but you said something last time. I'm not able to remember. What was your introduction to the teaching?
I've read Maharaj's books. I am that. Yeah, my Preeta. My question is, Maharaj always says to be with this I am. And then he also says to go beyond. So I've not been able to understand what is going beyond this I am.
Yes. If you can be in the I am, let's stay with that. If that much you've been able to do. He has also said, if you be in the I am, it will take you there. Therefore, my teacher would emphasize, you can't be in the I am without clearing this mess of the thinking mind. If you be in the I am as a practice and your daily life is a mess, your relationships are a mess, how can you be the I am? That is where the confusion arises. So this was the inverse path. First clear the clutter out, because when that is cleared out, then your natural state is being in the I am. Then you don't have to do anything to be in the I am. Look at the gift of the teaching. The gift is that the opportunity is now there to sort out all the Rinanubandhan. All which was destroying my peace of mind can now be destroyed itself. Then one is abiding in being. And it of course works both ways. If I am abiding in the I am, the rest will get sorted out. Because it is the same I am. There's only one I am. Different perspectives. But what Rameshji would say, in his case, he realized, based on his conditioning as a student of the London School of Economics, bank manager, being in the world, he found it more beneficial to talk to the ego, hold the ego's hand, and show it the way, rather than say, you are that. So there were different approaches. Therefore, he would say, Maharaj would say, I am that, but I say that is you, me, he, and she. It includes all of us. In your dream, everything you dream about is part of your dream only. It includes everything and everyone. This is the living dream of life. You can't exclude anyone. How can you? Prove it to me. I'm telling you yourself, your dream, can you exclude part of the dream? You can't. In life, can you exclude certain types of people, certain this, certain that? It's all part of one dream. How can you cut up the dream into small pieces? Is it possible? Which we have been doing earlier. We've been trying to cut up this dream, eliminate, separate, and all that stuff. Now it's seen as what a joke. The joke is on myself only. Yes, Vishwas.
Gautam, I have seen that a lot of us are drawn to you because we were hurt in some way. Either we were hurt by some person or an incident, or we hurt someone, and that hurt now doesn't leave you. It comes back to you a couple of times a day, and it's become so habitual that you feel you're in a loop that you can't get out of. And then something draws us to this satsang. I don't really know if a lot of us really want to be enlightened. I think most of us are just trying to get rid of this hurt, and there is no way to do it. Now, my question is there a way to consciously convert this hurt into practice?
First of all, any hurt brings about a sense of loss, a setback. As Ramana Maharshi said, in life, if not the first blow, whatever may be the blow, a blow is a hurt only.
Absolutely.
If not the first, then the second. If not the second, then the third. Eventually, it is the blows in life which make you ask questions. Is this life worth living? What is life about? And that is the start of the spiritual journey.
Yes, sir.
So for any satsang, anyone goes because they've been hurt.
Yes, sir.
If their life was pleasurable, why would they bother going to satsangs? But nobody has not been hurt. Therefore, those few who are drawn to satsang are chosen by God also. The rest are suffering psychologically in unawareness because that is their blueprint. But because of the grace of the source, the grace of consciousness, some individuals have been pulled onto the path, whatever their path may be. Could be Advaita, Kriya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, this, that, anything. That to me is grace in operation, which then means that the potential is there to find why am I feeling hurt, what hurt me, how can I see the real picture behind this all. That is the operation of grace. Then would you not say, hard as it may sound, that being hurt was a gift? Because everyone is getting hurt. But everyone does not have the destiny to come onto the path. We know someone who's had a very tough life, not only physically, but in terms of loss, losing people in their lives, physically very unwell, means loss on all fronts. But the minute you mention to her about a particular book or teacher or teaching, the doors are shut. This does not interest me. This does not interest me. I just have to fix my next doctor's appointment and my next therapist's appointment. And that is why I firmly believe that it is really, as I said, being hurt is everyone's destiny. But to be drawn to a spiritual pursuit is grace because of the hurt. Now that grace needs to be recognized. Many people don't. There's a belief in Hinduism, which I was not aware of, that in the guru-disciple relationship, a person can even miss the opportunity to be with the guru. The opportunity is presented by the source, but it may not be recognized. Now, some schools of thought say even that is destiny, ultimately. But what I have read and understood from other masters is that the source consciousness has created enough suffering and trouble in a particular body-mind organism and provided the grace to go on to the spiritual journey and placed the guru or the teacher or the mentor, give it whatever name, in front of the person. So if that is not recognized, according to them, it is an opportunity missed and will have to wait for the next birth. That is what I've been told. So I feel that it's true, we are the chosen ones in that sense.
It feels good, feels like somebody somewhere is taking care of you in maybe the toughest time of your life. I was introduced to that grace as Baba Hanuman. For me, that grace is Baba Hanuman.
Pavan Putra. What a life. Yeah, my master would use the Zen saying, we are all, what was it? We are all living in a dream. I think it's a Zen saying, and we will wake up when we are dead.
Hi. So Gautam, I'm basically from UK. I'm based there, but born in Mumbai, but in Mumbai. So from a family, but a sort of a spiritual retreat. So I'm kickstarting this with your talk and ending up with Neem Karoli Baba.
You've come for a spiritual retreat.
Yes, this is my
Kumbh
thing.
Mela or something.
Of course, including that. But I'm starting with yours, so you're blessing.
But you're the third person who's mentioned Neem Karoli Baba since last Sunday. I don't know what he's up to. Someone else came saying Neem Karoli Baba sent them last Sunday.
I just arrived on Friday.
From the UK.
Yeah. But I almost attended your London talk, which you cancelled last time.
Because of COVID.
Something like that. But then I never saw you ever coming again.
I didn't come after. So we were scheduled to come Feb 2020. Feb or March 2020, and it got cancelled a week before coming.
But you have no plans to come back?
Well, I want to, but let's see when it happens. Yeah.
A lot of people are fighting for problems getting visa now to UK. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Luckily, I have those 10-year visas. I was lucky.
So anyway, I'm supposed to be doing this spiritual thing, and I don't know why it's coinciding with this family drama thing I'm going to have with my mama, who's like 83, very feeble and all that stuff, frail. And, a typical North Indian patriarchal situation with gender and, ageism and all that. So mostly the old generation North Indian men, problems with, nieces and nephews and all that stuff. Yeah, so this about this source thing and the thing which you said that when you meet them after 25 years or whatever, and you see a different perspective. And I'm going to have that perspective in the evening today when I'll meet you after 20 some odd years. This is kind of connecting back to my first phone call with him just 2 days ago, where he just numerologically gave me a whole account of my life. You are this, you are that, and I'm like, it was all unsolicited. I thought he was interested in knowing this thing, that he even practices all these things.
But was it accurate?
It was very shocking. He said that I'm not a spiritual person. And I don't know why he picked that point out, because I am drifting too much. Neem Karoli Baba is like out there, who would go to Kainchi Dham just like that? It's out of the way. You can't even go to Kainchi Dham from any sort connected with anything. You have to literally just go by bus by Delhi and then. So, I'm in that sort of mode now. But, as you said, it's about the source, and how you view people after you see them after decades of your life. And he's my mama, he's my blood relation. So it's very difficult for me to hurt him because I want to hurt him because it hurt my kundli. My Mangal is sitting, the Mars is that red planet. This 2025 is number times also Mars number. So I am like, I will just eat him. But then I will regret. Because of that source thing, because of the way he saw me being, raised as my, I was not raised to be going abroad. Even I went to LSE, I did my studies there, I went to Sussex, did PhD and all that stuff. But I wasn't destined to be like that. It happened. I met my guru in Xavier's College. And then we drifted apart and all that stuff. And maybe now I'm in a different, maybe I'm having to go with this guru thing. I don't know the word stage. I think the guru word makes more sense in the edition that I am looking for things, the guidance. So the source thing is what bothers me a lot, especially in this Mumbai crowd, because I've got experience of, I don't think I would have got into this if I had continued to stay in Mumbai. Mumbai doesn't have any spiritual vibe for me. At least I can't connect.
Sure.
I discovered you when I was in London.
Sure, I can understand that.
Actually, I discovered through Abraham Hicks, law of many. I will be very honest. Abraham Hicks, and then I went through that whole 2 years thing. Then I went to Ramana Maharishi, and then Ramesh Balsekar. So Ramana Maharishi was my first point of, through, what is that, Walsh? You know him? GP Walsh? Another very troubled fellow. He taught his spiritual route through Uttarakhand and all that stuff. So Ramana Maharishi came through me through that. I mean, first, and then Ramesh Balsekar, I forget now. And then he said Advaita and all that. So this is nothing of my family. Nobody has introduced me to even Neem Kuril Baba, nothing of that sort. This is my own thing. But because I was in UK, I don't think if I had continued here, I would have ever known that Siddheshwar ka Samadhi is there in Valkeshwar. I mean, what? But now I want to do all that, because I'm connecting with that sort of source and all. So this thing in the evening is making me very anxious, like what will happen. And it's on my mind, because I'm going to meet him for a very long time. He's very frail. He's very feeble. I mean, I have invited him for dinner. I want to take him out because it will make my mother happy. That is what is important for me. My mother's happiness is important for me because they are close. They grew up in Tardeo area.
And making your mother happy will make you happy.
Exactly. And whatever happens, I have to accept it because that is what the source is keeping. Because source will not let me, because he's helping me, right? He's helping me make my mother happy by making her see my mama, or making me happy by keeping them both happy by eating together, whatever it is, the occasion, the togetherness. But he will say something which will offend me. That's for 100% sure, because he's of that generation. He can't accept women like me. It's impossible for people. But I have to take that. And then a Mangal will be like, okay, you took that, now I'll punish you. Why didn't you protect yourself? Why didn't you stand up for yourself? So that is what I'm like, how do I deal with this thing now?
So this whole satsang was for you only.
I think this is what I'm thinking.
You might your Mangal might just get confused. What do I do now?
It's 29 degrees. It's sitting 29 degrees.
Or what could happen? What is your name?
Smita.
Smitha.
No, Smita. Not the South Indian one, the North Indian one.
What could happen is your Mangal gets triggered, but you may be surprised that you offer an apology to your uncle.
I offer? Why? Why would I offer? My Mangal will never allow me.
No, your Mangal may trigger you. But suddenly you might see, my God, this man is a victim of his conditioning.
Yes.
Like I am. You yourself know your Mangal is strong. So a lot of your reactions are not yours.
Thank God.
It's your planets. Yeah, exactly. It is not you. But what is the difference between a sage's reaction in this situation and the ordinary person's? The sage knows he is built to anger, to get anger. Let's say Sai Baba was angry. Yeah. They portrayed him as this really heavenly being, which he was not, right? But that anger does not interfere in the sage's acceptance of the other. It is anger in the moment as an expression. What we human beings do is, because we are angry and we hold someone responsible as an individual for anger, we hold them accountable. Then we withdraw our love from them and we don't apologize. That, hey, look, I didn't mean to hurt you, but it's really what you said which triggered me. Even that much the ego can't do. But the sage may feel like, I've understood the whole game, anger still arose, and will apologize to the mama that I'm really sorry, but I could not help it.
Okay, that way, sorry. Yeah.
These things could happen. You see, now we are in a field of pure potential. Because we have realized everyone is playing out their script, we impersonalize it. We don't know how his parents treated him in that patriarchy. We are all just blindly playing out our conditioning. So the game is seen for what it is. That is what happens. And an acceptance of this, I don't have to be happy about the things he says and does. But when I accept this is what it is, what can I do about it? Am I going to change someone's mind at the age of 83? No. That acceptance is what gives me peace. And then I still feel in my own mind, maybe I don't want to mention it to him, that hey, you're 83, I really wish the rest of your time goes smoothly and comfortably for yourself. That also wish we withdraw from people who upset us. Now even that may emerge.
So I'm excited. I'm very excited. Thank you so much.
It is very exciting. It is very exciting because this whole vision, has changed. It's amazing. Just 2 days ago.
I don't want to reborn for this reason.
He
said something like this. Now, the last few hours.
You better pray to Mangal.
I know.
Exactly. It is a very real problem. So forget coming back in the next birth. You don't have to come back now. Because you have the luxury of time on your side, you think you can keep playing out action-reaction loops. So what happens is you are reincarnating in this life itself. Forget the next birth. When you perpetuate a rin, a bondage of a rin, you are reincarnating into that. And the opportunity is now. The opportunity is there now. Just 2 days ago, we were told about someone who's 83 or 84, who's made a lot of money, who is refusing to make a will. Now imagine the children's plight. No, because what trouble they will go through. But the ego is so strong in the father that absolutely I'm not. If I make a will, it means you'll want me to die. I mean, hello. See, but this is how the ego is blindsided. So I do wish you luck with him because everything is an opportunity. Every situation, every trigger point, every relationship is an opportunity and the potential for the descent of peace.
There's also a very interesting challenge here. I feel it will be a very interesting challenge for you to meet him, sense the memory of him.
This was for self-sensitized.
Without the memory of him. It feels like you'll be meeting him with the memory of him. Why don't you just go and meet him for the first time for the man that he is today? Maybe you'll be completely surprised. You're a new person today from the 25-year-old person that you were. Maybe you'll see him, maybe you'll actually see him this time for who he is. Maybe you never understood him.
Well said.
Yeah.
Because you once mentioned how you felt with your parents that way, right? Yeah.
I met my parents at the age of 33 for the first time. I never knew who my dad is. I always met him with his memory and fought with him. That's what I think Goldsmith means when he says don't buy into the problem, because whenever you're trying to heal someone, if he has a father problem and I'm trying to heal him, his father problem will trigger my conditioning and I will buy into it.
Yeah.
I will never be able to tell him what the true salah is for me.
Well said. Absolutely.
So if you have to be healers, you can't buy into the problem, because not buying into the problem is the solution you have to guide them to. Their problem is that they've bought into it.
Yeah.
In whatever their circumstances, their predicament is.
Like I'll end on what I said last time, no, that a woman goes to a therapist and he says, when did all this begin? She said, right from the time I was born. The problems began with birth. No birth, no problem.
Can I ask last question?
Okay. No, tell me, because you're not staying in Bombay, yeah.
So again, that one or two people, right? And you
Ho'oponopono and the one or two people.
no Ho'oponopono. No. Let us.
Maybe you should teach her Ho'oponopono.
Okay. So you said everybody would have preferences, right? For the people. So should I so I know that those people are not my preferences. So should I keep them whenever I can out of my life, or should I deal with them deeply and resolve it now?
See, all you can do is try. There's no guarantee it will be resolved.
But I want to resolve. I don't want.
Then you must try.
I don't want these relationships to come in my life again to deal with.
Who would want?
I know, right?
Yeah, she would not want the mama again. We all have such characters in our lives. But the resolution, as I keep saying, has to be within you. If you feel resolution means convincing the other person
I
of
don't want
something.
to convince. I just want to convince myself that they are.
And truly, if Ho'oponopono helps you with that, please practice it. Because these are all nice techniques. These are affirmations. Even this, what you've described, is an affirmation. What is it doing? It is reconditioning my life negative attitude towards someone, let's say. That is what then repeating it does. These are all ancient sciences. So don't worry that you're abandoning Ramesh or this or that. Wherever you are able to find your peace, that's what I tell everyone. You know, I hear of like masters stopping students from going to other satsangs and all. People have come here. Please go wherever you want to go, but go with this one criteria. Now I know I'm looking for peace, and where can I find it? Then if you come back here, well and good. Or if you find it somewhere else, well and good. What more could anyone want than someone else's peace? What does it matter? Where is it to be found? If all there is the source, does it really matter? What does it matter? It's really nonsense. I mean,
Yeah, in that way, like Ho'oponopono word came in my life from nowhere. So source must be having some. So
and for some it will resonate, for some it won't resonate. It may come across many people, and it depends on each person's destiny.